Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric and our continuing series Sega Race Renaissance, where I review every single arcade release 3D racing game from Sega in a retrospective fashion. And today we have the Model 3 original and never ported game, Dirt Devils. And it is a ton of fun, but it's probably one of my least favorite Sega racing games of all time, and I will explain about that in just a few moments. Before I get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like, subscribe, and that notification bell definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. But now that we got that over with, let's get right into Dirt Devils. Obviously, if you can't tell already, this is an off-road racing game, which is a fun genre in and of itself. Sega did a lot of things with Sega Rally being an off-road game. And I really do enjoy playing Dirt Devils. I'm not saying it's a bad game. All I'm saying is that the handling mechanics are a little bit too loose for me, and I struggle to get anywhere in this game. Sure, I can finish a race, but I don't really finish in that well of a spot. What I do love is this zoomed out camera that kind of makes it feel like you're racing micro machines or little Hot Wheels cars, even if the camera will swing completely out of the field of view. And because I am using the Hummer, you can go into the cockpit and it looks like a Hummer, I guess. I've never been in one. You tell me in the comments below if you drive one of those monstrosities. Actually, no judgments, I'm sure they're fine. But this was developed by Sega AM3, a company more known for doing light gun shooters. They did stuff like Gunblade New York. They did things like Jurassic Park. Those were awesome games, but they weren't an exclusive racing developer, and maybe that's why I struggle a little bit with Dirt Devils. I can't deny that the game isn't pretty though. It's running on the Sega Model 3 and I'm playing it in the Supermodel emulator, forcing widescreen support, and the game looks spectacular. You'll see that there's even Dreamcast ads up there because this game was announced to be released on the Dreamcast. Unlike so many Model 3 games, including Daytona 2 and Scud Race, it never actually came home. But let's move on to a different course here, this indoor arena. All of the courses are great. The bump and run aspect of the gameplay is solid. All of the courses are intelligently designed. The steering just feels a little bit too floaty for my liking no matter what vehicle you end up picking. And maybe I just haven't gotten the handle of this game, but I have played it an absolute ton. But you'll see there I went through that mud bog, and you do need to avoid hazards in this game. Touching the wall, you're going to lose all your momentum. Doing something like that, you'll lose all your momentum. And I just got pushed out of there by the AI. Sometimes in this game, you're going to get knocked back even though it's due to no fault of your own. Where so many of the arcade racing games I've talked about on this series so far, if you make a mistake, it's on you. But this AI is ruthless and they're going to knock you around even when you're in the air. But you want to avoid the mud holes. See, I missed one there and I stupidly hit the second one. If you drive around them, you're going to maintain your momentum through the course, and you're going to have a better time when you're playing it. If you don't go around them, you're going to slow yourself down and do something like that right there, which is just absolute terrible driving. I'm not saying it's not a fun game, and I'm not saying it's not some people's favorite game. Leave me a comment down below and tell me what you think. All I'm saying is I've never clicked with it. A game like Dirt Dash, very similar title, but from a different developer, Namco, I think does a much better job at the off-road racing genre than Sega did here. If I want to play an off-road racing game with a lot of dirt drifting mechanics from Sega, I'm going to go directly over to any of the Sega Rally games and have a better time. And you'll say I got third there, but I could have gotten first, but I got knocked out of the way, and that's what always seems to happen in this game. No matter how well you're doing, a car is going to come in from your periphery, it is going to jam you out of the way, and it is going to cause you to get knocked down in places. So sometimes when you don't get the checkered flag in first, it kind of feels like the game's messing with you a little bit. But the game does have a great soundtrack and some really fun engine noises, so go ahead and listen for like 45 seconds and I'll come back and talk more about the successes and perceived failures of Dirt Devils. Enjoy! Got another third place finish there, so that's not too bad. Moving on to Desert, the expert course. This is where things with this game just go off the rails for me, because I can never find a vehicle that gets me around the track without just completely destroying everything. And you'll see even the AI cars are just knocking into everything so wildly. I take this turn, I bump the wall, and I'm down in this gully immediately. And this game loves to impede your progress, and I think that's where I actually have some issues with the game, because just getting popped by that one car around the corner there, I had a good turn, but I just got screwed up and I hit another car there and I end up in the wall. But I end up in the wall with the rest of the cars too, so it's not like that's an issue for me. Now moving over to something like Sega Rally, similar course, much better handling. I'm not saying that the Dirt Dash handling is wrong, I'm just saying it's not for me, because drifting around these corners here feels incredible. But if we put Sega Rally 2 up against Dirt Devils, honestly you can see the difference night and day. I am drifting perfectly around that corner right there in Sega Rally, where in Dirt Devils everything just feels a little bit looser, and if you hit the water in Sega Rally 2, you slow down a little bit but you don't lose all your momentum, where in something like Dirt Devils it really is just going to impede you. And that's why this is one of those games where I'm not denying that it's not a good game, it's definitely a very pretty game to look at, it just doesn't happen to be for me. But that is allowed in gaming. I can say I don't like a game and still say it's probably a good game. Some people that have probably played Dirt Devils more than any other racing game are going to leave me a comment and tell me, nicely hopefully, what I need to do differently or what I'm doing wrong to get further in the game. And if you do love Dirt Devils and you've got some tips, please leave them down below, because this is just the type of thing that I've never managed to click with, but I want to. And moving back to this final course as well, you can just see how that camera swings, how the physics works. I'm just all over the track. I cannot hold it together, and maybe that's just my fault. Maybe I need to adjust my wheel sensitivity. I did calibrate it in the test menu before I started, but again, just trying to take this turn, like I lose all that momentum. And I find it interesting that a lot of the AI cars seem to do some of the same stuff that I have problems with. I just think that the handling's a little loose in this game. If you tightened it up 15-20%, maybe you could even modify the ROM. I think this might be one of my favorite Sega arcade racing games on Model 3. But as it currently stands, it's a very pretty game that emulates perfectly in Supermodel, and a lot of people may have a lot of fun with it. It's just not a game that I find myself wanting to come back to, because it doesn't feel like I'm making mistakes that I'm causing and I could just get better with practice. It feels like the game is causing me to make mistakes, and no matter how hard I try, I'm never going to be able to get as good as I want to, and therefore I'd rather not keep playing. Leave me a comment down below and tell me, do you think that's a fair assessment of this game, or do you think I'm being a little bit harsh on it? Because it is a game I want to love, I just can't figure out how to. Short of that, we will be back next Wednesday with an episode in our Sega Race Renaissance series, but I'm curious, of all the videos you've seen so far, which is your favorite Sega racing game so far? Tell me down below what you think the all-time greatest one is. I'd be very curious. And yeah, if you want to give Dirt Devils a try it on the Supermodel 3 emulator, and if you get really good at the game, please, please, please tell me how to do it, because I want to love this game, I just can't figure out how to. Short of that, and that's the video. Dirt Devils, it's not bad, it's not great. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.